Hello everyone, we are starting the reviews of the fourth round, season 31. We have 9 games because we review groups A, B and C. Only one commentary will be in Polish, and the games are, quite a few of them are quite long, so it will be a really long stream, but I cannot put any of these commentaries for the next week, next Sunday, because next Sunday we will all meet in Warsaw at the Waiting Cup. I'm already here, as you can see at the background, from my background. Yes, so let's be starting. In this game, Cezary took black, Robin took white. This starts with a Joseki. It's been a long time since we've seen this Joseki in professional games, because of two reasons. First of all, the pincers got a bit less popular, and second, if the pincer is played, then the opponent almost always just jumps into the corner. And apparently, the reasoning behind it is that now when black finishes the shape, either like this or like that, in both cases, black ends up a little bit over concentrated. However, not finishing the shape and just playing away leaves a clear weakness in black's shape. Maybe go like that, or go like that. So it's difficult to leave it. Therefore, white can just jump into the corner and that's it. But in the game we have a more interesting move, more variations after that one. And what to do now? One idea from AI, from the times of AlphaGo opening tool, is to play this move. This move was advertised back by AlphaGo. And it's a very good play. If white jumps to the corner, then black's pincer is in a very good position. Of course, it's an even result, and white can also try to fight, and then we will get into more complications. Now we choose certainly between A and B, and which is better? Maybe let's try this one. Maybe like this, Atari perhaps. We could think of such play. Possibility. That's a possibility. Also, even result, interesting, even result. Black attaches, of course, possible move. White jumps into the corner, and what to do now? Usually we play this one, and if white connects underneath, black is quite happy with the shape on the outside. However, now this stone is a bit mislocated, because it would be well placed at B, or maybe C also hits white's weak points, but it is at A, it is not doing much. It would be better if it is further and later black can continue with B or C, but at A it's not located the best. However, the top result, the top shape is good for black. So that's one possibility. Also, instead of playing this move, we might consider blocking here, but then remember to not play that old stupid Joseki, which looks very bad for black, because it looks just like a Joseki, a Sansan invasion Joseki, but with a terrible AB exchange, and CD, which is also a bad exchange for black. So this you cannot play, but you can play here and here. That's an option. That's an option. Black played this move, and now white connected. And what should black do? In the game, black didn't want white to connect, but it's better to block here. Maybe black didn't want to do it because he read this variation and saw that white connects everything and black's position looks miserable. However, after one exchange, now black can play elsewhere. Now black can play that move which black played in the game, and it's better. It's better with the 1-2 exchange than as it was in the game. This is a bit inferior for black, and overall the result looks a bit better for white. It's like a Joseki. Well, this is basically a Joseki, but now instead of playing an obvious Atari, black plays from below, white connects. White peeped. That's interesting choice. Not really needed because we are not afraid that black goes here, so we are making black a bit stronger. If we don't do it, then later we might use that turn, which might be a center move. Alright, white played that, black plays a pincer, makes sense. Makes sense. It's also quite big to continue, even though it might not look so big because the side is a bit narrow. However, it will be a bit annoying when white approaches and black feels more or less obliged to continue. If black doesn't do it, then white saves the 3 stones. However, even that would not be any disaster for black, so maybe for now it's better to play on the very wide bottom side. Then black invaded. It's possible to invade, but you don't have to do it. You can certainly continue with the Moyo strategy, taking into account how beautiful formation you have on the bottom right. This is a Joseki, yes. Here also interesting thing. White doesn't have to connect, and very often white leaves it like this, deciding that maybe later white prefers to build, or maybe right now white wants to build a Moyo on the left side and doesn't want to give black that stone. However, on this board maybe it's better to connect because the bottom side is the most interesting with that corner enclosure by black. White continued and finished in gote. That's a bit annoying to finish in gote. Maybe white doesn't need to do it. Maybe white can just play on the bottom, because later white might be able to play more powerful move and not be afraid of a cut, for example. Alright, but white finished, fine. Black plays on the bottom, yes, the biggest move on the board, and the left side is of course also very big. Then black played that famous continuation, after which black is dead. Dead and happy. Dead and happy, it often happens these days in Go, in corners. So dead and happy is good, and it's commonly done before playing on the top. So it makes sense. I think that black can also simply play on the top. It's a big move, or maybe a shoulder hit. But with the preparation, it's also possible. Jump. All right. If black wants to jump, he can jump. Though I feel a little bit inclined to extend, because we want to keep that Agi open, and with the extension, or rather I should say without the extension, white cleaned up the Agi. Maybe better to play here and later we die and cause trouble. Die and cause trouble. That's the pattern, modern pattern. Like this, our death is a little bit not useful. White goes here. Probably more common to play like this. Also, might be possible to attach and cut if the ladder is good for white, but it's a bit doubtful whether the ladder is good. Let's read. Here will be black stone. Yes, so the ladder is good for white. But maybe black has a breaker of this form. So anyway, maybe black doesn't have time to play it, so white can consider just entering black's area with such audacious, such bold move. Cut would be a success, no? and like this also looks not bad. So something to consider. If black is afraid, I mean, or maybe not just if black is afraid. If the ladder doesn't work, then this is a better move for black. But then white has a beautiful continuation and white can build a group. After this move, I think that the first choice for black should be to hane from the outside, and after the cut we extend on the second line. This is a very powerful combination. Now white can of course try to build a group in the corner, but well, such a small life is maybe not satisfactory. And of course playing from the other side is not interesting. Now this stone is well located. So I would think of that one. So probably white will just go into the corner. Black can play here. And now it looks like if black had a Hoshi and then white invaded with ABCD. Or also another option, go like this, this, connect. Again, this stone is well located, so I think black is not bad in this variation. I didn't do any AI check before today, so it's just my intuition. This looks a bit satisfactory for white. This move. Good move, yes. This might be an option, but then black has an obvious continuation. Maybe good move. Of course, now it's center for black to play from above, and I expected this move, as black is building a nice bottom side. Of course, white lived, but well, it already happened. We cannot argue with it at this point. So let's just take what is ours, and then we need to somehow continue what we started on the left. And this attachment looks very tempting, and actually black played it afterwards. Oh, black. Okay, black did it later. Aha, this one. So this move indeed is center, threatening a very fierce attack. So white answered. Good answer. Some safety for white, and then this move of black. Oh no, what is black doing here? Black is creating around 0 points with this shape and strengthening white on the other side. This is my impression, but probably the thinking was different. The thinking was black is not letting white connect underneath. But why? Why do we do it if white is safe in the corner and that group is also very quickly safe? We can still play from above like that, but still the group is quite safe. Better to just play here and play there. Maybe later, if you want to split white, this move might be better. After this move there is a continuation, or maybe not really. Alright, the group of white is unfortunately completely alive. Yeah, white is alive. But still, such a kick looks strange in my eyes. Block. Big move, but it seems to me that it might be bigger to do something on the left side. White was afraid of the cut. Indeed, there is a bit of a trouble. With that cut. But this move looks very slow, letting black do that block, perform that block in center. Like this, white surely wins the capturing race. This is a famous Tesujin. But I understand that white might feel that if such a move becomes center for black, then it's already good for black. Is it center? With this Tesuji, it might be center for black. This is a beautiful Tesuji. Yeah, I see, I see. All right, well played by black, this block, and then an attachment. But this means clearly that white should fix the shape. If you already spend a move to fix, then fix it completely. Like this, black has such a beautiful continuation, still using white's Aji. So now black entered white's area, and is already satisfied, as I can see. Then a bit of safety. It looks like the game should be good for black from the flow of the stones. Let's count. That's 20 plus a bit, maybe up to 25, 30, 40, 2, Komi, up to 50 in white's hands, and black has 10 here. 20, 30, 40. Of course, quite a potential here, but white also has some potential there, and there is some balance of strength, unclear balance of strength in the center. All right, we counted and we reached the conclusion that it's not a disaster for anyone. Very useful, very useful to do such a count. For example, if black plays this way, black already gets additional points on the bottom, saving his stones. Already the point balance is good for black. So the only problem is that the group on the left side is not too safe, but also not too weak. Why not connect? This I don't understand. This doesn't work for white, so white's only scary move is a descend. Black can take away white's liberty. It looks like it makes sense. And white can push, but black is only happy getting these extensions. So very much not understandable. Why does black not connect and gives white a Ponnuki and a potential continuation? That's probably a heavy mistake by black. Now a few points. All right, a few points for black. Good. Black jumps, yes, makes sense. And at this point, black probably took a moment to think about the game and wasn't really sure what to do in this game. It seems that the game is basically finished. It's already like end game. What else can be done? Maybe we can connect the stones, but it looks a bit slow. Maybe protect the group in the center, but it looks a bit slow. Are there any points to be taken on the board? We might think of this, but it lets white more easily start that comb, which is a bit problematic, unfortunately. Also, white might have more threats for the comb because of the weak shape of black on the top and on the left. What to do? And black did a bit strange thing. This exchange is not understandable. Maybe now black's plan is to go out. Beautiful plan, but why? Well, alright. Maybe black thinks that white won't have time to play a breaker, because the position on the bottom side is very hot. Yeah, so black tries to cause trouble it's not really needed. I think that black is still rather good in the game and black can simply play here. But it's also very interesting how black was not in time to play this exchange. Usually when they play you a double Hane, you should immediately exchange, force your opponent into a worse shape and only then extend. If you extend first, then later the Atari will be surely less forcing. And now it was indeed less forcing. Even if black takes the stone, it's not as much a disaster for white because now black stone at A is a bit useless. But still, black can do it. Black can do it. And I think it's a good idea. White splits black in the center, so black needs to take care of his stones. Maybe with this move, looks reasonable. And then the question is whether white can attack black's group strongly. Probably the group should be fine, but it's a bit risky. Yeah, this exchange is very interesting and funny. But maybe the best idea for black was to just play in the center, because here black has still weak groups, this group and that group. That's very difficult to understand it right now, that these groups are indeed very weak. But if black played it, then white also has very hard time to now think of any idea how to continue the game. Basically, white has one option, which is starting the ko, which is very scary because now the ko is super heavy. And also black is not as weak thanks to the move in the center. And if white loses the ko, then this whole group is in trouble. So this is one option. And what are the other options? It seems not many other options. If white just connects, then black should have more on this board and win by a small margin. So now white takes his chance, and this was a very, very good decision to complicate the game. And suddenly black's plans collapsed. Black certainly wanted to play here, but then he was afraid that white can go through here and capture a stone, after which black is forced to connect on the second line. Looks not very satisfactory. Maybe just play away. So black didn't want to accept that, but then trouble started, and it's amazing how this trouble continued. Atari from the other side. It's very difficult for black to say that he doesn't want it, because then the exchanges were just bad. Now, black spent a move on the right side, and white started a super fierce attack which won the game. It was not needed to protect on the right side now. Black can simply play here, but it's also very nice to see that white really didn't lose much by sacrificing that stone at A. That's why we should really play such Ataris before extending to C. So now if black played here, white can squeeze black a little bit. Fine, maybe like this, maybe there is a bit better way. And now it's 10, 40 minus 4 plus 4, so 52. 62, 72, 75 in black's hands, and then 25, 33, 6, 9, 49, 52, Komi 16. Not enough. White will lose this game. So in fact, the decisive moment was not here, where black can likely play something like that and make the game easier, but right now it's still good for black, and black should have simply protected the weak group, but he just didn't expect what can happen. And now Robin started the attack, and the attack was insanely successful. So white managed to cut off black's 8 stones, and it's already a very big gain. And afterwards, black still managed to live with the group only in a calm, which black won, of course, but white got a big endgame move, and it was enough for white to have a very comfortable advantage. Yeah. So here, the power of the attack. This was the powerful attack. Indeed, now it looks not easy for black. Even after the connection, white had that beautiful move to seal black in. So this is the losing move, and black should have played here. Alright, this is it about this game, and we will move to the next one. In this game, Higaki took black and Warren took white. Higaki played Moyo style game. But for now, there's Joseki. For Josekis, yes, makes sense. Difficult to say which side is bigger. Left side is very big. Top side, yeah, black can create something, create a Moyo there, but it's difficult for black to ignore white's move. Very often, black answers it in this way, after which white can happily continue with the game's move. There is a hole in black's shape. Not sure if I would play this far. Of course, it also creates a continuation for black, but it might be also good to play a bit closer. White continued. This is a good question. I would be very much inclined to connect, because it creates a liberty problem in white's shape. So with that move at B instead of A, it matters. But this also makes sense. Then white attached, and after this move of black, white never ignores. If white wants to ignore, then white plays this exchange once, after which black's access in white's area is much worse. If white ignores immediately, then black's continuation is very, very comfortable. This is possible for black. So at least play the Hane once, and then you can do whatever you want. But also very commonly, white descends, after which white has a huge continuation. Alright, this is also quite much of a forcing move. And here, interestingly, white pipped and black didn't connect. If black connects, it's annoying because white has that attachment which splits black. I don't think that it's not possible for black to play like this, because black is out, but also a bit painful. So maybe better the way it was done in the game. White continues, doesn't care about this huge move. Attachment. We will see such an attachment in another game today, but then the conclusion will be different. So now white just created a bigger wall, but white has supporting stones, and with the supporting stones it's basically possible, always possible, to descend. After the descent, black has two possibilities. One is to cut, but white very easily crawls back. After which, maybe black cannot even extend because the group in the corner is quite much in danger. And black cannot really kill white, I think. I think that it's difficult for black, but we would need to be very careful in our reading. Whether it's possible or not. It's not possible. So if black cannot capture white, that Atari was there from the very beginning, sorry. If it's not possible, then black cannot even extend here, meaning that black has to go back basically, and white can play here and there, and this is a great result for white. So because of that support of white, black is forced to play another clamp. Of course, now white cannot descend, but white can connect, and this is much better than doing this, because it is like if we played here, but instead of connecting normally, black connected like that, after which life of black's group is still not decided. So this is much better for white. Now maybe black can continue like this, alright, but still white creates a very beautiful wall and also can very easily live, and black is not completely alive yet. So this is this move was too soft by white. White keeps pushing. This invasion, I mean reduction, what to think of it? Of course white is creating an incredible moyom, but maybe it's too soft. My intuition is a bit deeper. I mean, is to play a bit deeper, not necessarily the intuition itself is deeper. Or maybe play very, very deep. I can see that black is afraid of doing so because the wall is very tall. Tall wall. Alright, I think that the reduction is a good choice. If white plays here, then later black can anyway also reduce from the bottom, to which white doesn't have a very good answer. This is a success for black. Let's say white gets all of that. This is 6 times 7, 42, 45, 53, 60 counting Komi, and black has 16, 25, 35, 45, 50 plus, 50 plus, and quite a potential on the top. Should be not bad for black. I mean, an even game of course, but it's not a bad plan for black to play this way. White plays 4 more, makes sense, and then amazing move. Of course black cannot play here to avoid that move of white, but maybe it's a good play. However, most often it's not to play like this. Most often white should play from the top and attack the group as a whole, but it's difficult to play such a fight, so white chose an easy option. An easy option how to simply create points by cutting off black's stone. So now it worked. White created a lot of points, black got strength on the outside. If I was black though, I'm not sure if I would play this way. There is also the other option, to give white strength on the outside, because then black is still using quite much weakness in this shape of white, entering white's area. I would not be afraid as black that this group might die. I would not be afraid of that. It looks quite lively. There is still an option to go out rather easily. So this was probably too soft by black, and then white enclosed a huge territory. How many points? 10, 20, 30, 41, 43, 46, let's count 46, 47, 8, 50 plus, with Komi it's 60. 60 sure points, and also here maybe white will manage to get some points because black's e2 is not really center. Okay, black blocked, makes sense. And white was in time to play here. Then maybe better to play this one. Force white into that connection, and later play such a move to be sure that the group runs out, and also maybe you can create something on the top. Like this, white gets more points, clearly. Makes sense. So this block is not clear, not necessarily good. What is it needed for? The group of white is already safe, it doesn't threaten cutting it, and black doesn't need to connect that group because that group very easily can connect back to the other stones of black, so it's better to simply create points. White can go through and try to attack black's group, but it should be easy to connect black's group. Like this. So like this, black should win the game, I think, with that territory on the top. This move has really little value. And now of course white tries to destroy, though this move is again a bit misplaced. Just play here. You are afraid of that move of black. You are creating more points on the top than black is. Or at least as much. As many. So this is too risky, and also again you are threatening cutting two strong groups of the opponent. And at this point, black had an option to simply play here, cut off white stones. It looks not good for white. I don't really see a way for white. This would be a way to win the game for black, and this unfortunately didn't work so well. Maybe black missed the fact that now white has a great continuation. So what is the great continuation? In fact, I'm not sure what black was afraid of. Yeah, why not play like this? What's the point? Okay, so in fact black's move worked, and now black should have extended. But instead, black played this move, naively hoping that it's center, and now it's more clear for black to cut off white stones. But white captured. And even when black continues, the status of white's group is not completely clear yet. If white plays like this and that, white lives. Black has another option. Black can go here, and then white is dead. But white might have a continuation, and white later showed it to us in the game. But also, the group on the top is likely worth more than the group on the right side. Now white can even attack black's 4 stones. So this was a chance for white, and white took it. Still, I think that the game should be not bad for black. Cut. White cuts, but this doesn't threaten much. And if black simply... there is a problem here. So maybe black needs to go back. What did black do? Black went back this way. Okay. Maybe if black goes back that way, then there would be no trouble which in the game appeared. Then how is the game? We already counted this. 10, 20, 30, 40, 5, 58, 60. 60 plus combi. Black has 10, 13, 45, 55, 60, 5, 75, 80. Easy game for black. Alright, but black missed a beautiful Tesuji by white. Now white goes for it in a moment. in a moment. Atari, cut, Atari, 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 and suddenly we have a call between this group and that group. It's a matter of one liberty. So only if white wins the call, white can capture black. So this is a chance for white, of course. But luckily for black, black has local threats. And also the call is difficult to play for white because black can continue it in a very fierce manner. So white decided that he has no choice but to lose the call with that move. Still, the combination of white was very successful. White got a few points here, and there is a Samedori. Black needs to add a few moves within his territory. So now the game certainly became closer, but probably it's still good for black. And if now black counts points and sees that the game is just good for him, then black should simply finish it with normal endgame moves. So interesting. Is the game good for black? Again, 10, 20, 30, 40, 3, 5, but minus 2. So here, 45, 57, 63, 65, 76, maybe 77 for white. And black has 10, 24, 13, 44, 53, 63. All right. Now it's not bad for white anymore. Maybe white is already winning. Wow, so this was a genius combination. First of all, black lost quite something with that exchange, and that was a naive exchange. And then white profited even more by squeezing black and getting territory in the center. Yeah, so first center moves, of course, very well played, and then a great attack. Well played by white, so if my estimation is correct, white is already fine in the game, but then we saw another show of the call, and there was a huge exchange. Now black can capture this, white can capture that group of black. But then white is ahead. And also, black has a way to save the group, and then white saves his group. So black, as a result, managed to get quite something in the center, 10 points, and also no Samedori, so another 2 points, and no points for white, so 15 points. But white also destroyed more than 15 points, so white's advantage only grew thanks to that call. So it was a good try by black if black was indeed behind, but unfortunately it couldn't work with that co-threat of white. The co-threat was big enough, and then white won the game easily. Very interesting how this game went. It changed so quickly. Sente cut, yes. What to do? This move is not small. 1, 2, 3, 4. And if there is a Samedori, 5, 6, 7 points in white center. 7 points in center is huge. It might be bigger than these jumps. It might be bigger. I think that this might be a mistake, a game losing move, because black doesn't really need that one, it seems. Maybe better to play here or here. If white tries to do something, black connects. It seems that the trouble is not as big as it was in the center. So here the game was decided in that combination of white, and also, of course, this was a very bad mistake by black. Black can play like this, but instead black lost quite some points. Not sure if it is worth it to play this move, but it might be. Or alternatively, make life with the group. Yeah, and then white found this combination and won. Amazing fight in the end game. Alright, so this is about the game, and we will move to the next one. Let's move on. In this game, Milena took black, Olesia took white. This game was decided very unexpectedly. It starts with a normal opening. This move looks a bit misplaced because the left side is wider. It's possible to approach the fourth line stone. It's also possible to approach normally a fourth line stone here, so this would look more usual. But alright, fourth line move is also a move. I wouldn't recommend this attachment because from the other side you can still have a much more flexible way of playing. This way of playing is stiff, heavy. Now black needs to take care of this group. And also it still doesn't have a base, and white is already strong from the other side, so certainly the fight became good for white. It's much better to play like this, and you don't need to be afraid of that move. First of all, you can go this way and be satisfied. Second, even if you don't want that for some reason, you can always play something alternative, something different. Slow, but what can we do? This is unusual. Usually we play on the fourth line. Why not? Why not? A lot of territory for white, and this obviously leaves a lot of agi. Maybe Olesia thinks that for now the agi is not a problem, and later hopefully she manages to seal the whole territory. But anyway, fifth line territory is very difficult to protect. It will be much easier for black to enter once this stone is here and not there. Milena entered that way immediately. Interesting. Probe, right? But this is a ladder actually. Now white stone is well located. However, Milena doesn't worry about that because she knows that she can later continue with this and that and annoy the opponent with a living group. If I was white, I would still play from the left side, but probably Olesia thinks that after these exchanges it's already not that thin of a side, so she can afford also playing from the other side. If she plays here, well, maybe it looks a bit like black is building something on the bottom, but white gets a lot of points. On the other hand, now Milena, black, cannot enter white's area because the shape is too thin. That's the problem with playing two-space jump. You play two-space jumps to be faster, but you end up being slower. So, black's conclusion is that she needs to protect that two-space jump in an active manner in Sentem, so that later it's possible to play here. Interesting. Okay, makes sense. Makes sense. Very aggressive, but makes sense. What a move. What to think of this move? It's a bit running away from the main topic of the fight, and it might be a bit of a problem if Olesia decides to continue the fight. But will she dare? Also possible to continue the fight like that, but will she dare? So she extends, that's a more natural move. And still the stones in the center are safe, and here white got a strong shape, so I think it was a good decision by white. But also possible to consider the other one. Black gets a potential, but the group on the other side is very thin. Too aggressive play by black. Better play here, and either this way or that way, unless it doesn't help. Then you proceed. Yeah, I think this jump looks very natural, and this is very aggressive. No ladder. Of course, this is even more aggressive, but maybe possible. All right. It looks like black is pushing white against her own group. My intuition is rather on the side. And in the easiest variations which we can think of, it works for white. White is not enclosed by any pseudoneta of black. But this move also looks good. Black tries to enter. Unfortunately, we cannot split black now because the shape is good enough. But why an attachment? An attachment from strong stones. And here are weak stones. We anyway already said that we are not going to create the territory, so it would be more consequential or coherent to now continue from the other side, from the weak stones, I think. Here we obviously have a beautiful center continuation. The question though is whether we can kill. If we cannot kill, it's not as big of a success. That's why I think that first take points, even if we think that it's easier to live for black now, because then even if black lives, we already gained something out of it and we can easily continue the game. Yeah, this is a bit risky. Play. Now without killing, it's more difficult for white to get a good position. And black managed to go through, and this was very, very unexpected that white was not in time to play that center move. This shouldn't happen, but it sometimes happens. So be careful. Before a real fight starts, remember to prepare for it. Now was the time to play all these center moves, and then it's much easier. Maybe then we don't play this move. Maybe then we look again at the position and some other move looks better also. But let's say we would play like in the game. Yeah, just like this. This looks good. And now, having played those center exchanges, we have a much better position for an attack. Of course. Very, very unfair that we were not in time to play our center move. And well, Milena took the chance. I think it's the third time in this season of Iglo and I see such well-timed ignore of a center move. Very important skill to not always answer to opponent's moves, but also realize where is the more important direction of play. And suddenly white is split, and even if the central group can live, if this life is a got alive, then white can still have a very big trouble with the other group. So this is kind of what happens. White tries to make life, but still the group on the other side is in trouble. Well, beautiful, beautiful wedge here, I need to admit. It's not possible for Milena to play anything which would simply work. Therefore, it might have been better to connect. Later, the attachment is good, and for now, if we force white into such a move, then of course it's better than the actual game. Well played by white. And black is so fierce. Well, maybe white didn't expect such an attack. If white did, then maybe white would have just created that eye. Though what's with that group? Well, white can live with that group. This group lives. This group lives, alright. I believe that it lives. And then the other one should be also able to live. Though it still looks a bit like an overplay by black, a bit too much. White should be able to go out and tackle all the problems. All right, black managed to save the group in the corner, but does that move connect? If it connects, then I understand, but if not, like this it connects, and like this it also connects. Indeed, white's Hane here is a good Tesuji. It looks really like a Tesuji from a book. Here white does not connect, but white simply lives, so well played by white, that knight's move. And now this group of black will have very hard time looking for two eyes. So kind of one of two very faint hopes for black is to kill white's group. But it shouldn't happen. This should not happen. However, in the game, it did. I believe that white was not aware how successful the attack might prove. Right now, white cannot play this card, unfortunately, because it simply doesn't work. So white prepares, but then after the preparation still chooses not to play here, which would be a very good exchange if it works, but instead to play there, which is not very powerful. Why did white not do this? Maybe white thought that black has a good continuation like that, which is in a way true, but white gets a bit like a half an eye here. White also has half an eye there, and white now pressures black stone, so probably white will manage to create the second eye in the corner or on the side. Like this, it's good for white already. So white should play this one, or maybe white was afraid that black plays the coin, chooses such threats. But this is not possible, I believe, because this captures 5 black stones, and now black doesn't win the capturing race. At least that's how it seems if you look at it with my eyes. Unclear, unclear. Maybe it does work. No, it doesn't. White has this move. First here and then here. So white is safe. So this call is not playable for black. Black risks too much. Such a threat is not possible. Even such a threat is not possible. Even though black lives with everything, white gets too much. The game must be good for white right now. In the game, white played not such an ambitious move. Also, it might have been possible for white to start with a tiger's mouth and either go this way, which looks good, or now we start the call, and probably it's a better shape for white. Yeah, this was not as active, and Milena was super active, and here she didn't miss the chance to play an unexpected cut. This way, not possible. How many eyes are there in the corner? Isn't there 1/2 eye here? Also, even if not, white can try going for a capturing race, because black doesn't have that many liberties. Just look at it. Black has around. Black has around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 outside liberties, and white also has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it must be possible to consider going for a capturing race, and well, maybe white can win it, even if white doesn't have 2 eyes. White went for a different variation, and then after the cut already it's difficult to win it on liberties. So white tries to capture black on the outside, but this move was too thin. Black found a counter and now killed white on the side, and white resigned because now the capturing race is probably better for black already. So the last chance is here. And why not peep? I don't understand. Later, maybe the peep is not possible, but now it's certainly possible to peep. But is it possible to still... Difficult to fight against black. So amazing how this attack of black worked. I think that the best chance for white might be to go for this variation and the capturing race, but certainly this move is too slack. Alright, so this is it about this game, and we will move on. We will move to Group B. Okay, yeah, the mic was off for this game. Sorry, but thank you for telling me. All previous games were recorded, so we need to re-record this one. That's the one advantage of having a stream instead of a commenting games locally. Well, so I need to re-record this game, and I hope you are still there. So let's go back. Paweł took black, Cassian took white, and I am very happy to see players playing this opening, as I am very fond of it myself. Now white was afraid to simply approach, because certainly black stone will help in any fight which can emerge. It's not a bad move, but instead white decided to split aside and play a very steady combination, building a group. Then black continues in a very reasonable manner. This also makes sense. And now I think I would advertise a jump, because it makes sense with that stone trying to build a box, and also now those stones are useful for making that box. White might play once and then somehow enter, but it's difficult to enter. I mean, black will attack. On the other hand, white is already so strong on the top side. Black can also play elsewhere. Instead, black took the corner, which also makes sense. It is very, very big. However, now the question is whether A, B, C, D are good exchanges for black. If black played on the left side first, then maybe black would have preferred to split white with the move at E instead of playing at A. On the other hand, if black starts with this, then black likely finishes in Gotham. White has time for a move here, so it's also possible to play these exchanges first and then going into the corner. White continued, which makes sense because white wants to put pressure on these two stones of black. Black plays Hane, and in the Joseki you cut. But now the stone at A for sure will be helpful for black. So white was afraid and played from above. How would it be? Black would play Atari from below, otherwise white's descent is center, so black would go here. And then the strongest move of black is likely standing up. Now the stone at A is a perfectly located pincer. To this I believe that we can answer, and it's difficult for white to go out. This standing up is very powerful with having that stone, having that pincer stone. If we play like in the normal Joseki, then, well, we really shouldn't do this, how the normal Joseki goes, because now we got basically the result from the Joseki, but with one more move spent. So now the stone at A is not well located. It's not needed there. We would prefer to have the stone here at 14 instead of the stone at 10 and A, and instead have another stone somewhere else on the board. So this we cannot accept. Instead we can fight like this, but then white has a way out. And now if black captures, it maybe goes like this. If black captures the three stones, then well, white gets a Ponuki. Both are possible, but it should be more powerful to go here. I explained more this this shape with this Joseki and that stone on a lecture at the London Go Center in May this year. So you can just check on YouTube London Go Center, and you can find some game commentaries of mine there, and also live lectures which I gave at London tournaments. So also a discussion of this shape, more detailed than here. So in the game, white plays Hane, and you need to understand one thing, that right now, locally it's better for black, but the stone at A is misplaced. So white can accept giving black this fourth line territory, which would usually be better for black, because now the stone at A doesn't really make sense here. It's just making territory from a very, very strong group, and well, and the corner enclosure, which is also safe. It is also too close to that strong group of black, so it's inefficient. It's over-concentrated. That's why it's an even result. And then, what should white do? In the game, white played Keima, but this doesn't make sense, because black already answered to this move at A. After this move at A, the stone of black at B starts making sense. Still, probably black would prefer to have it elsewhere and not at B, because it's still not that big, but at least it's answering white's move, it's protecting from white's very easy intrusion into black's area. Instead of playing a move which is already answered, white should play a cap. After this one, are we afraid that black plays here? First of all, if black wants to make a box, black would start from there, because after this one still white can enter very easily. And also black doesn't have time to do such things, because the group on the bottom is in a very problematic situation. So the cap would be very powerful, and white would feel good in this game, I think. Maybe taking into account the stones on the bottom, black can consider simply jumping out. Like this. Maybe something like this. So this would be good for white, but with that move it's so easy for black to run out. However, black attaches, and probably black thought that white will play Hane and black will have a way to make a base, or to run first and later make a base. However, white found this option, and Atari first, which is very smart, because now black is cut and black cannot save both these stones and those. Black might consider making life here, or maybe even playing these exchanges to be sure that the group is alive. But black didn't like that white's potential in the center is very strong, and also it seems that black needs to add a move. Otherwise, there might be a little of a problem. Either there will be or not, but still, white's potential is very strong, and there is still a bit of weakness in black's shape. So instead, black decides to play in the center. So he plays center exchange, go out. But if so, why don't we just go out? Well, if we play here, then white will surely go up. This is a very, very valuable move. But we can play here first and then go here. Or maybe Tiger's Moth is better. Are we afraid that white plays these moves now? If not, then it means that we don't need to play them ourselves, because otherwise we will always have time to play it. It's always black center. And also it's not the case that white has some two ways of answering these moves. It's not a question move. So don't do such exchanges if they are not needed now. If your opponent is not going to stop you from playing them. By the way, once you are here watching, I was also very interested to ask how is the sound, if today is better than usually. Well, I can also listen myself afterwards, but I am using a different microphone, so interesting to know which feels more pleasant. So why should you not make Why should you not make center exchanges? Because you don't know what the future will bring. Maybe there is a fight. Maybe your opponent decides to cut you with this move and this. And then perhaps you try to fight in this way and that way and that way. And then suddenly you might have an option to capture white stones. However, if you made the exchanges first, the variation might not work. So you cannot predict. You cannot predict what happens in the future, but maybe what you play now will not leave you an option which might be very, very useful in a fight. So leave it for later. If you're only not afraid that white plays here now, and probably you're not because it's too easy for black then to run out. Alright. Black still played this, and now if I was white I would play from the top. If white plays from the top, what can black do? Maybe here, but then white might cut. Or maybe there. If Hane, again, white might cut. And if here, well, white is making a big potential towards the top side, and later white can count on creating quite some points here, and black is still not completely safe. So this is a good direction of the attack. But instead, white tries to destroy black's base, which is unreasonable, especially that black can treat the single stone very lightly and play from the outside later here, and black got much stronger thanks to that attack of white. Now black's group is certainly stronger than it used to be, so still it's possible to attack it. Still it's possible to attack it. Maybe black should play here. Yeah, and possibly there. I don't understand why black plays from this side, connects the stone. After that, it gives white an option to again make a direction of play choice and try to push black towards white's wall and try to get a potential towards the right side, which is still open. Well, maybe the wall looks like it has weaknesses, so it's a tricky question, but it might be that white has a Tesuji here. If black connects, white can cut and black is in trouble. If black connects here, then white can simply push. Later also this cut looks very, very risky for black. So this is an option for white. This is an option, which is somehow a logical continuation of that attack. Of course, we don't really want to now completely ignore these two stones because we already invested something in them. Instead, white cuts, and then black managed to get that good direction of play. White gets a Ponuki, fine, good shape, but now black gets a potential towards the right side, which is the last open side on this board. However, still it's fine for white if white only chooses the correct direction now and attacks black from that side. If white only builds a potential towards the right side, then the game should be good for white. Still the attack was successful and white gained already profit from it on the bottom. This was very happy for white. And now if white can get another profit, white should be good in the game. However, instead, white pushes through, capturing two black stones, which are not necessary at all. They are not cutting stones, and white is taking points from a Ponuki and the wall. So this is a very strange choice, as it gives black a potential towards the last important side of this board. Wrong direction of play. Black gets this potential, and now we have a very interesting moment. Black needs to connect to not die. However, before doing so, maybe black can get something. It's often good to not just directly connect to the peep, but first try to tempt our opponent into playing the cut and make just the cut not working. So the only question is how to do it, from which side, which direction to take. For example, we can choose this. It looks like a shape move, the move at 1, but it gives white a good direction towards the right side, so it doesn't make sense. So instead black plays this attachment and then connects. But this also doesn't make sense. AB exchange is not good for black. This is anyway a good move for white, but this attachment is not good for black at all. White can even capture this stone, getting a very big, getting quite many points and still weakening black's group. And if black wants to have anything out of it, then black needs to connect that stone. Well, maybe it makes sense if black can continue. So the question is whether now black can capture 3 white stones. And it seems that it's unclear. It seems that it's unclear, unfortunately. This would be good for black. This also. And this would be a core, but it also looks good for black. Because black can get really much on this core. And white cannot start it with a proper move. White needs to cut. Maybe it's not even a core. Maybe it's not even a core. Yeah, so black should be good. Black should be good. And then it makes sense what black played. White is forced to play here, then black plays there. You need to remember that if you do it now, it's for sure center. But if you do it later, it's not necessarily center. If you do it later, then white can ignore the 2 stones. But black was a bit afraid of continuing, so now black connected. But then it doesn't make sense. Then the AB exchange is just a bad exchange. There were other possibilities. For example, this move would be much clearer. It's for sure not possible for white to cut because this net very easily works. And if white plays here, then it should be a good exchange for black because black gets outside. White also gets a good move, worth quite something. Quite a few points, but maybe it's a good exchange for black. Maybe also possible to play something crazy, but who knows, we would need to read it deeply. Other than that, we can simply connect. Certainly it's not good to change plans halfway and now connect. White even played this move though, maybe it's better to play on that side. Still white puts pressure on black's group in the center and also takes that most important side. Alright, now still is possible to play here, but instead white chooses a wrong direction of play of once again, plays from strong stones where there are not many points to be taken instead of playing on the last open side. And then black takes this chance to play on the side. And now it starts already looking better for black, but white can still get a good result or might maybe still be in the game if white plays this way and splits black because this takes away black's points and still might put pressure on black's dragon. However, white enters the corner and then black answers from the outside, which is locally the correct move. The Joseki goes like this, and later this is black's center also. So now black is already good in this game because black's outside influence has double meaning. First of all, point. Second of all, strengthening the last weak group. A very heavy, large dragon. So this was a game-losing move. White should play here, then there is still a chance. White plays here, which is not a Joseki, because locally white is not alive. However, right now, it's not possible for black to play this way, because thanks to that stone at A, black cannot really fight. Like this or like that. Black cannot fight. Or maybe black can, but oh well. Maybe black can. It's possible to think of it. This would be good for black. But well, okay. I can understand that black simply protected on the outside, and then white made an not understandable mistake. This move also makes life. This group is already alive, the outside liberty is not necessary. Also, if black plays here, the group of white is already alive, so it's just better to play here. And also black cannot now try to kill white's group because white goes out. So descent was just inferior, and then black plays this move. Maybe the exchange is not necessary, white can ignore it, because this direction of play is just very boring, the central one, because all stones there are safe. But after this move, maybe white can still have chance to win the game if white still tries to enter. Maybe white still has a chance to turn the table, but if white plays such a modest move, then black simply protected the territory and black had more. Black had more. Later, black still managed in the endgame to enter into white's area because of white's sloppiness. White should have played here, but instead white played there and black entered, taking away quite a few points. But black's advantage was decisive already before. So black won this game, and that's it. Happy that now the microphone worked, I believe. Tough to tell which mic is better. This one sounds well. Alright, that's good. And anyway, we will move to the next game now, still staying in Group B. In this game, Baptiste took black and Łukasz took white. Joseki, and now it's more urgent to play on the left side and not on the top side. On the top side, black stones can more easily run than on the left side, because you see on the left side white is already playing from above, and on the top side not yet. So this is a bit unusual choice by black, and now it would look natural for white to try to put a big pressure on black stones. However, still black will manage to run out. That's unfortunate. So maybe Łukasz didn't have a good idea how this attack should look like, and decided to attack from far, from a further distance. It also makes sense, but now it's easy for black to ignore white's move and simply add a move to those stones, because white's pressure is not too strong anyway. This would be one choice for black, but instead black played this way, and this is a very interesting moment. First of all, locally, white has 3 moves to consider: connect, hanem, or descent. Descent is possible only if white has a support on the side, or at least if there is no that stone of black at B. If just white has a stone at C, it's possible to think of descending. Afterwards, black can cut white, and then white crawls. How is it played? Push once more. This is a Tesuji, right? But with the I don't remember how many liberties you need to have, and with black's support it might be even possible that black simply goes here. It's crazy, of course, it's all crazy. Maybe black cannot hane. Maybe black cannot, maybe black can. Just the descent to 1 is not often seen if white doesn't have a support, but maybe it's possible. If we pushed 5 times, by the way, we had a game in Croatian Championship today where we had this descent and this crawling played, And apparently black didn't want to extend once more, instead playing in the corner. But usually I think you should be entitled to one more extension, and then there is that Tsuji, and what happens? Who knows? Some Ko, or who knows? If it goes like this, then who is longer in liberties? Ah, white is longer, but this doesn't work for white. So white needs to first play a move which does not take away a liberty. This looks good for black. So maybe white's only choice is this comp. Maybe. Anyway, this is one choice which is crazy. The other choices. Connect. Black plays here. It's not great for white. Black is out on the third line. It's possible now to continue maybe with the knight's move, or maybe with an attack on the two stones. It makes more sense. Would white push here? Probably not. Why would you push? It only strengthens black on the side where you can still attack him. So probably you choose something else than the push. And then the third choice, Hane. And this is the most common choice. But why? Black will certainly play Atari. And then, if you connect, it's just like if you played here and then pushed. This doesn't make sense. I mean turned. This doesn't make sense for white. This is just good for black. So what's the idea? The idea is that now you can play Atari from the other side. And this is a common continuation. Maybe the most common locally. Black can start a call, but it's difficult for black to find a big enough thread. Maybe even this is not big enough because white's gain is huge. And if you think it's big enough, you can still accept it. Because even with this connection, probably white's result is better than like this. But well, if you really are afraid of the call, then for sure, instead of playing here and connecting, it's better to simply connect. It's just illogical to play Hane and connect. This was played in the game, then white develops a moyo, it makes sense. Black enters, it makes sense. And here, yeah, black doesn't want to accept a bad shape, which is probably the correct choice because black shape is simply bad. But well, it's difficult for black to play. Alternatively, black can try to make a group on the bottom, and probably black will not die. Nah, black will not die. I understand that players are afraid of playing this way, but you should be a bit more brave in general and just go for it. Just go for it. You will not die. And if you will die once, you will learn in the process. So like this, white hits black's vital point, and then I expected a push, and another push, and another push, and later maybe here, and later there. But instead white cuts. It makes sense if we can attack black severely on the bottom. But unfortunately, with moves like that and that, black can find a way to not only go out, but even to put pressure on our group. So I think it's unreasonable to cut right away. Usually in such shape, players are fighting to force the opponent into playing a move around here. Either black tries white to force white to the cut, or white tries to force black into a dame connection. I talked about it extensively on the lecture about filling the holes. It was, I think, the second lecture in IGLO, done 4 years ago. And also this year in Toulouse, I talked about a similar topic, but unfortunately that lecture is not recorded. Yeah, so the cut is premature probably. Black plays here, and well, I would understand if now white tries to fight very severely, though it would be probably unreasonable because it's so easy for black to go out. However, white maybe made a mistake, maybe it was a mistake, but white can still think of an alternative path. Again, push, push, push. I would push once more. It's still completely centered. And you know, when you are trying to put a cap on the opponent's head, it's very important that you are taller than the opponent. If you are just of the same height as your opponent, then it's difficult that you pull your hands over the opponent's head, because then your opponent will hit your hands and your battle position will get completely destroyed. So you need to be taller. But if you are taller only by 1 centimeter, then it's usually not enough, because you still need to raise your hands a little bit to be above your opponent's head, and still your opponent can hit you in your armpit and fight very well against you. So if you are 2 centimeters taller, then you are already entitled to put a cap on your opponent's head, and now it's difficult for your opponent to really fight against you, though he can still try, because he will still have a way to maybe hit your head one day. Or maybe he goes out this way, and later this move will certainly matter. But if you are 3 centimeters higher, then you putting the cap on your opponent's head is already very powerful, and your opponent usually doesn't have a good way to counter attack. Here, maybe this move looks beautiful because black has such a strong shape here. Maybe still black can somehow fight, but I would certainly push once more. It just feels that the shape of white lacks one move. This will be a very crucial point later in the game. Black ignored. But if black ignores, then black should certainly play from here. Right now, white will just give away one stone, but black will not take it. Black will not take it, and even now, black doesn't take it, but maybe plays around here, or maybe now, once it's possible to play here, maybe now black goes out. Not sure, or maybe plays here. Oh, difficult choices. Or just play here. Maybe this makes sense. In fact, this doesn't look too bad for black, even though the shape is not perfect with this empty triangle. This is a bit slow but steady. Now push makes sense. No answer. I see, still no answer. But it's difficult to not answer this. It's easier to not answer here, I believe. But, well, maybe. But then black should play here, because after that white's push becomes completely not center. So this was a good moment to do it. What did I press? Sorry. Okay. White captured. Black goes up. Makes sense. But this is a very important move, and I think that white is happy with the result, though difficult to judge. Yeah, important move, of course. Important move, and then white goes out. No, go out here, of course. Or maybe Kosumi. Maybe later white plays Kosumi. Kosumi. Still possible to attack black's group, but it will live. It will certainly live. Is the game good for white? Not necessarily. You know, normally, I mean very commonly, you attack black's shape with this move and not that. And maybe one of the reasons is how black's cap is powerful. It was painful when white failed to get this in center. I think white should play here. It looks more powerful. Black can cut, yes, but it's difficult for black to cut because there is a very weak group on the other side. So we need to keep black busy as well. If we can manage, then we can get an upper hand in the fight. But it's a difficult position. This exchange looks questionable. Maybe just play here. Sorry. So then white was fighting with Kosumi, makes sense. White didn't want that variation, though it's fair, it's a fair variation. Crazy fight. All in all, I like black in the game though, even though white managed to capture black in a net afterwards. This net costs quite something. Black already has 10, 15, 25. White also has points. But this group is thin. White somehow needs to finish in center on the bottom and then capture the 3 stones, or maybe play something more active than capturing the 3 stones. Actually, the net is probably a mistake and this move is better. Is it? Not sure, not sure. Or white needs to fight like that. That was unexpected. If black plays like this anyway, white cannot play the Atari because then black can counter-attack. So white will anyway play here and then black play there. But black was afraid about the group on the bottom, which is maybe reasonable, and maybe it means that white should start with this move. Because here is a base of both of these groups, and white can, with such strategy, white might be able to live in center by putting pressure on black's group. Or like this. So this was probably well played by black, though white gets a corner, and then here. Black still puts pressure. This was very successful for black. To protect and do it in center, because it put pressure on white's group. And white lived in Gotham. Before making life, I would play here. Why not? Later, the entrance is so clean. But if you don't do it, then later your move might be answered in that manner. And likely will. Or maybe even this. This is better, yes. So it's Gotha for white. Yeah, so white missed the chance to play this move. If black plays here, then of course it's good for white. And here maybe white still has a chance if white tries to fight very severely, but it looks quite unreasonable because these 3 stones are weak. They were not so weak before. But what can we do? We don't want to just make life like this. This is unreasonable. Why not here? Like this, black would be much better. Like that, white finished in center. This is a very big move. Interesting that black didn't choose it. And now it seems that white gets a chance to make things more complicated. Sorry. But I wanted to make the center exchange and failed. Black didn't think it's so big, and probably it's indeed smaller than continuing. Though probably still the biggest move is a 3-3 invasion. Well, it's big. Well, yeah. If white plays like this, maybe still white has quite some points on the board. But probably black is better. And here, black cut. It's also a bit unreasonable. Why not here? But black managed the fight afterwards quite well. maybe white failed to play this move. It would be better to play it before. Play it before. So afterwards white managed to make life, or not. Ah no, didn't manage to make life. So it was actually, after that one, it became very desperate for white. Yeah. It's better of course to play like this, but anyway, white simply doesn't have enough. And one more interesting thing in this game, that somehow white was looking for the last chance, and he found one, because he cut off a big dragon of black. So then everyone was watching the game with big excitement. But now white could have just connected, capturing the central stones, but thought that it might be not enough for winning the game. Who knows? Maybe white is right. 10, 20, 30, 14, 15, 16, 70 for white, and black has 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. Yeah, of course, it's not enough. So white wanted more, but then it was a call, and black won. Even though white lived on the right side, black won easily. Yeah. Too bad how it went for white. Difficult to pinpoint a mistake, really. Maybe fight like that. Of course it's risky, but sometimes you need to take risk. Unfortunately in Go, sometimes you cannot do without taking the risk. Yeah, maybe that was a mistake. And well, I also believe that this was premature. Alright, this is it about this game, and we will move to the next one, which will be the only review in Polish today. tej partii Janek grał białymi, Nilu grał czarnymi. I to jest chyba najtrudniejsza gra do skomentowania w tej rundzie. No, bo się toczyła długo i nie wiadomo, co tam było dobre, a co złe. Zaczyna się w taki sposób. Zazwyczaj jak czarny nie odpowiedział na nasze hasami, to kontynuujemy tym ruchem. To jest najsilniejszy tutaj lokalnie ruch. Czarny wprawdzie może tam sobie przeżyć. No i jak to grać? Mospaniem? Pewnie tak. Pewnie tak się gra w Josekim. Chociaż w sumie to nie wiem. Nie no, chyba tak. Czy jest coś bez ko? No oczywiście można bez ko. Chyba tak czy siak tutaj, tak? Może też tu można? No tak. No dobra, ale to też jest dobry ruch, po którym zazwyczaj widuje się taki ruch czarnego i później może tu albo uderzenie. Jeśli biały tutaj, to może można tak zablokować. Może można sobie pozwolić. Albo driving the sudzi, którego nie zna Czarek z nazwy, ale oczywiście zna je z widzenia. Albo inne uderzenie. Czarny tu. Biały się rozszerzył, to ma sens. Grupa czarnego jest trochę ciężka. Niestety. Nie ma dostępu do narożnika. No i czarny mógłby sobie tak w nią wybiegać, no ale wtedy biały dostaje to, co chce z obydwu stron. Więc czarny próbuje zagrać inaczej. I to mi się bardzo podoba, takie podejście. Tylko czarny troszkę się pośpieszył później, nie wytrzymał, bo moim zdaniem należy dalej tak muskać tego białego, albo nawet się rozszerzyć tutaj. Jak coś, to zawsze jest łączenie, jakieś tam dolne, a jeśli biały przetnie, no to rozdzieli, no to jest dość powolny ruch, więc wtedy będziemy sobie biec, no tak, w porządku, chyba że się nie uda. No i jakoś się będzie to toczyło. Natomiast czarny się pośpieszył z tym, żeby grać tutaj. To jeśli tak, to może lepiej było w tym miejscu zagrać. Jak biały nawet tu zagra, to tak czy siak łączenie tutaj jest. Także ten niski ruch ma sens. Jeżeli biały by z kolei tak rozcinał, no to tym razem już nas bardzo wzmacnia. No ale oczywiście znowu jest ten problem. Jak tu uciekać? Można by tak zagrać, można by. No i w każdym razie czarny uderzył od dołu. No i moja intuicja raczej jest taka, że to jest dobre dla białego. Zdobyć tu sobie ponnuki. AI wam powie, jaka jest jego intuicja. No i oczywiście jest ona mądrzejsza niż moja. Nie wiem, jaka jest. Czarny też tutaj sporo zyskał, bo się połączył i zyskał siłę na zewnątrz. No ale co ponuki, to ponuki. Trudno tutaj to jakoś inaczej wycenić niż taką... niż po prostu jak to nam się wydaje. No ale właśnie moim zdaniem czarny się trochę pośpieszył, bo jak biały przetnie, czarny przecież ma też inne możliwości. Czarny może tutaj rozpocząć walkę. Więc moim zdaniem tak w otwarciu nie trzeba się tak już skupiać na tych tutaj 4 kamieniach. One są jeszcze nadal dość lekkie. Nawet jak zginą w całości, to niekoniecznie jest aż tak olbrzymi jak to, co czarny może zyskać na dolnej bandzie. W tym momencie raczej się gra tutaj. Rozszerzenie wysokie o 3 nie jest widywane, bo jest oczywista dziura, która akurat w grze nie została wykorzystana, no ale trudno białemu tutaj odpowiedzieć mądrze. Może można tak, tu się białe połączą, no ale nie jest to zbyt przyjemne dać się tak spłaszczyć. Także raczej się gra tutaj. Jakoś jak nie ma tego nodzoki wypłaconego, to częściej się widuje ten ruch, chociaż i ten ruch jest bardzo popularny, a po nodzoki wypłaconym to ten ruch, rozszerzenie o 2 wysokie jest najczęściej widywany. Czarny dogrywa joseki, to ma sens, biały kolejne joseki tam rozpoczyna, to też ma sens, tutaj wymiana, w porządku, czarny uznał, że woli to niż to, Czy to jest poprawna decyzja? Trudno powiedzieć. Dobrze rozdzielić białego, no z drugiej strony coś tam poświęcamy, jakiś potencjał na lewej bandzie, no ale myślę, że to rozdzielenie jest bardzo wartościowe, które czarne zagrały. Tutaj Janek uznał, że mu się znudziło granie zwykłych Joseki. To by było jak najbardziej dobre dla białego, więc nie wiem, czemu mu się tak znudziło. Nie wiem, gdzie teraz, czy tu, czy może tu, na dużą skalę. No, dziwna decyzja. Jak czarne powinny to skontrować? Pytanie, czy chodzi drabina? Jeśli chodzi, no to w ogóle trudno zrozumieć wybór białego, no ale nie chodzi, okej. Ale tak czy siak, możliwe, że najlepszy ruch jest w tym miejscu. Ciach, no biały musi pchać, nie może teraz zagrać gdzie indziej, musi pchać od dołu. W tej chwili znowu nie bardzo może zagrać tu, bo czarny zagra Hanę. Może można. Może można, ale czy to jest dobre dla białego? Niekoniecznie. To jest lepsze niż zwykłe Joseki. W każdym razie, no dziwaczny wybór, no ale rozumiem, że ze wsparciem po obu stronach może rzeczywiście można tak zagrać. To jest tak, jakbyśmy zainwestowali pod Sansanem B, C, D, czarny gra E, my tniemy. Tak zagrał Mateusz przeciwko Aleksa Muromcewa na turnieju w Petersburgu. W tym roku, no można. Czy mam tutaj jakiś lepszy pomysł? No nie wiem, czy mam lepszy pomysł. To jest oczywiście najbardziej agresywny sposób gry. No ale to jest to, o co chodzi białemu, żeby się wplątać tutaj w taką walkę. Bardzo trudną walkę, no. Czy to jest dobry pomysł? Chyba nie za dobry. Możliwe, że czarne powinny zejść i po prostu próbować mordować. Albo tak zagrać. Tak to wyszło. Tutaj raczej się spodziewałem skoku Nila i później albo ten ruch, albo jeśli białe wydłużą, no to wtedy może o oczko dalej. No dobrze, no tak też można. Teraz może białe wyskoczą. Tam jest duży ruch do zagrania. Białe z jakiegoś powodu zignorowały to, co się dzieje na górze. To raczej błąd, bo tutaj jest walka. Tu się toczy najważniejsza walka tej gry. Słaba grupa. Ta grupa też nie jest najsilniejsza jeszcze i ta grupa białego też nie jest jeszcze najsilniejsza. Także Nil na nic nie czekał i ustabilizował sobie tam pozycję. No i dobrze zrobił, myślę. Myślę, że dobrze zrobił. Trochę szkoda, że biały też tak się zabezpieczył, no ale w przyszłości mamy taki ruch, który białego trochę będzie nękać. Także nie jest źle. Bezpieczeństwo przede wszystkim. No i Nil lubi takie spokojne gry. Tak ja go zapamiętałem przynajmniej. Ciach, okej. O, no dobry ruch. Chociaż tutaj też jest duży ruch, ale faktycznie tutaj może być pewien problem. Zwłaszcza jeśli biały ma czas, żeby tu zagrać. Ale czy biały ma na to czas? Na to czasu nie ma. Ale na to... Na to może ma. Co na to, na to. No właśnie, no to czarny tu. Trochę nie rozumiem, czemu tutaj, a nie po prostu tu, ale najlepiej no to tam jednak. Tam się ważne rzeczy dzieją, ważniejsze niż te punkty na bandzie, moim zdaniem. Biały poszedł po punkty, ale tak to nie lepiej tu, żeby tak czarnego nie wzmacniać jeszcze, ale może nie, może lepiej tak jak w grze. Tu się ciekawa rzecz stała. Biały zagrał Hanę łączenie, no bo to odwrotny sente i wydawałoby się, że podwójne sente. I czarny faktycznie odpowiedział, ale czy to jest konieczne? Mi się wydaje, że to nie jest konieczne. Że czarne mogą po prostu zagrać gdzie indziej. Co tutaj niby chodzi? Ja nic nie widzę. Co niby chodzi? Co tutaj chodzi? Czy tu coś chodzi? Chyba nic tu nie chodzi. Także nie trzeba było dogrywać, no ale to Janek miał szczęście. Wychodzi. Czy to jest duży ruch? Gdzie są teraz duże ruchy? Właśnie dlatego mówię, że to jest trudna gra do skomentowania, bo nie wiadomo, gdzie w tej grze były duże ruchy. To jest jakiś tam ruch. Wymiana chyba sente, chyba na plus. Może centrum nie jest takie bez znaczenia. Coś tam może się pojawić w tym centrum czarnemu, no bo mamy tutaj słabą grupę i tutaj też taką trochę niemrawą, ale czy to znaczy, że sami powinniśmy zagrać w centrum? Nie wiem. Białe wychodzą. O, no tu się zabezpieczyły. No dobrze, sensownie. A czarny tam wzięły punkt, też sensownie. O, no dobra, białe próbują coś budować. Może troszkę zbyt tak grubymi nićmi szyty jest ten plan. Bardzo łatwo się to zredukuje, a jednak tu się ważniejsze rzeczy dzieją moim zdaniem. Tutaj mogą wziąć i czarne i białe. Więc ja bym wolał tutaj zagrać. O, to chyba dobry ruch. No ale właśnie, skąd wiedzieć, co tu grać? O, no Nil tu zagrał, no właśnie. O, i tutaj białe straciły szanse, której nie powinny nigdy w żadnej grze stracić. Żeby zagrać tu. No jak można stracić taką szansę? Później jeszcze jest słabość w kształcie czarnego, która się bardzo możliwe, że przyda kiedyś. Także tragedia, że białe tego nie zagrały w sente, a przecież mogły i czarne tam zagrały, no to jest bardzo duże. To jest tak. W terytorium białego to jest różnica no z 4 punktów, jak nie więcej. Nie no 4, ale w terytorium czarnego no ze 3 punktów na pewno w sente. No to tak z 7 punktów w sente, no to bardzo dużo. Bardzo dużo. Straciliśmy okazję. Dzieją się jakieś rzeczy w centrum. Czarny spróbował tego nodzoki, ale biały ładnie odpowiedział z drugiej strony. Może lepiej czarny by zrobił, gdyby wchodził o tak. No, ale kwestia jest taka, że czarne już nazbierały punktów na bandzie, więc teraz w zasadzie tylko zredukować i do domu. Tutaj to było duże oczywiście, tak, 12, 14, 25, 35 plus grosze, 40, 50, 7 plus grosze, no do 60 czarne może dobiją, a białe mają 17, 23, no ze 30, no i pytanie, no jak to 40, 50, optymistycznie licząc, może będzie 55, 59 plus komi 65, trudno wygrać tę grę białemu. Chyba taka redukcja wystarczy, więc białe przegapiły moment, kiedy ta gra była jeszcze do wygrania. Teraz czarne tak zredukowały tak troszkę o tu, no i białe musiały to zabezpieczyć. No ale tak czy siak nie da się tego zabezpieczyć. W grze czarne wlazły tędy, no i po tym wejściu i jeszcze złapaniu tych kamieni czarne uzyskały już bardzo dużą przewagę i wygrały o dość sporo. Także no na pewno to jest nieodżałowany błąd, że tutaj białe nie wykorzystały tego, co było zdecydowanie ich przywilejem. A wcześniej no to trudno tutaj wybierać ruchy w centrum. No dobrze, no to chyba tyle o tej grze. Nie wiem, czy udało mi się powiedzieć dużo mądrych rzeczy, bo gra trudna do skomentowania, ale już przejdziemy do następnej. Przejdziemy do grupy C i do języka angielskiego. in this game, Robert took black and Andrzej took white. Robert is one of the top youth players in Europe, one of the rising stars. Very happy to have him in England. Here the Joseki goes with this move. This one is not a Joseki, this is better for black. If black extends, then white is happy. White keeps pushing. And later if black plays here, it's an empty triangle. So black should play this one himself, and then it's possible to jump and it's good for black. However, white has an unexpected counter to play from the other side, and the Joseki goes like this, and later here as a big move, or maybe here. Yeah, so this is a Joseki which is worth to know. Such a long sequence of moves. White played from below, then goes up, but the fight will be a bit difficult for white. White goes out, and now white decided to play away. And this is a bad decision in my opinion, because the fight is happening here, and it's important who plays a move in it. So there are two options: either play in the center or attack the group of black. There is an annoying move here which we explored already when we reviewed the game of Łukasz Lew from this round. So we might also consider a softer move like this. But anyway, it's good to put pressure on black's group. If black ignores it, later white has a very strong continuation, and well, black will certainly manage to make life, but if white can capture that corner in center, then white might be satisfied. And if white forces black to play there, white might be again satisfied with the exchanges. And now maybe it's possible to play away. But white played away immediately, and then black plays Hanem, and it was unexpectedly strong attack by black. Black went through and cut white, and got such a strength in the center, which will later help black build a left side. But it's difficult for white to play any other path. For example, giving away 2 stones gives black too much strength. Now that wall of black became so strong, and black still has time to strengthen the group on the top and take points there. So what? Does white have no choice? Maybe it was reasonable for white to start from a move which puts pressure on the group of black there. Because will black be brave enough? Will black dare to extend in the center? Then white can get a good result on the top side, it seems. And if black answers, then later the same fight might be easier for white. Maybe white will be able to connect from the other side. But how it went in the game should be good for black. Well, now white would really like to play here, but then black has time to play on the side, so instead white plays there. White managed to do it in center. Alright, good, but no, the continuation is not correct. Now we need to already play on the side. Anyway, black will not play here, because white can answer from the other side, and this is not a gain for black. And if black plays here, white plays here. So why do we need to play here, play there at all? We can do it later. We don't need to do it now. If we think that this move is center, we can do it later. But if we play it now and it proves to be not center, then we will lose center in a crucial moment of the game. And black managed to live in center. So this is a bad result for white. White should still probably play here, but it's already bad to have those exchanges made. And like this, it's very good for black to get to consolidate the position on the top side. Black is alive. Plays Atari, yes, makes sense. Big strength for black. So now black is better in the game. And the game simply continues. It simply continues, but black is just better. We can count it. Almost 20, 40, 50, 58, 60, and potential, of course, potential. 16, 20, maybe 30, 40, 15, up to 60. Komi. Playable for white, it seems, but black, basically black needs to make points out of that potential, but it will appear naturally because the walls are so strong. This is a big move, by the way. Maybe black should be a bit worried that white plays this one day, though it kills the edge in the corner, but it's very good. It's basically center. White needs to be active. I think play like this better. This was a bit frightened move. Now white enters and makes life. Makes sense. But now white needs to connect, otherwise the group dies in Seki. It's sorry, the group dies in a Ko. It's very important to know that Tsumego, which appears after the Joseki sequence. So, well, is it a good result for white? I am not sure. Because it gave black an additional stone here. The move at B stopped being Sentem. And there are still very big things to fight for on this board. Like this is very painful for white. Also, usually when you enter like this, you don't make that life. You die after this move. You don't want to make life because that life is simply small. Well, theoretically, this group of white still can live. For example, like that, white can do this, sorry, and connect. But well, maybe it's better than the game. It might be better than the game. Yeah, it might be better than the game. But usually you don't do such things. You just accept the death and then try to get profit in another way. So is there another way here? Maybe there is no other way. Maybe there is no other way. Then white should play here. Well, if black is in time to play this move, pity, but alright, we will get something else. I think this is a better way, but difficult to judge. In the game, white made life, but then instead of connecting, white was afraid of this move. Yeah, it makes sense, but then the group still dies in a Ko, and black already gained so much on the outside that this was certainly not worth it for white. It's still a Ko, it's a Ko. The players fight the Ko. Here black played a bit hasty threat, not realizing that it makes white completely alive. So instead it would be better to play a threat like this. If white makes life, then we continue with this move. Ah no, sorry, this doesn't make sense. Well, with this move. Probably like that. Well, probably black is still good, but like this white made live. However, the threats are a bit of a loss, the threats of white. Maybe don't play this threat, because this already loses something significant. Just make life. Just make life. Anyway, white will be forced to do it, because white is going to answer to black's threats. Because white anyway can live, so white is not going to ignore black's threat to live with 2 more points. So why should you play minus threats? This is a minus move. White shouldn't do this. White should simply connect. Well, the Ko has finished, but somehow black had a clear advantage afterwards, because these moves which black played created quite a big box. Amazingly, it's like 3 times 8, 9, 10, 30, 40 points in the center, 55, 65, 65 for black. Well, let's count 20 for white, 30, 40, 6, 55, 60. All right, still a game, but still the problem is that black has more power everywhere. Somehow it might have looked like point-wise it's not too bad for white, but you can see that afterwards basically nothing happened, and white and black very easily won the game. The advantage was too big in the end. So the lesson is that such strength as black has right now in the center, it's worth quite something. Even if on sure points it looks like an even game, or maybe 5 points better for white, it's probably better for black thanks to that enormous thickness. And the game deciding mistakes were made here. First of all, not playing in the fight, and later not playing here before doing this. And afterwards it was already a bit difficult, but then the final mistake is this move. White had a chance to get a move on the top side, but didn't play there. So that's it about this game, and we will move to the next one. In this game, Piotrek took white and Yoshi took black, and the game went very, very interestingly. First Joseki, 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 alright, all fine. Pincer looks correct, yes, very big move. White attached, which is a bit hasty. I would rather recommend this move and later an attachment. Now it's difficult for black to counter it. Maybe something like this will follow. But it's difficult for black to start a fight in this fashion, as white's 1-2 exchange helps white a lot. Oh, sorry. Ah, I cannot put a white stone now. Yeah, like this. Like this, white is fine. But if we start immediately, then the fight is not easy for white. Black jumped. I also expected a jump from white. Later, if white is in time to play at A, then the B move will be very, very strong. It's a bit difficult for black to play because white is strong on the other side. So maybe instead of a pincer we can think of another strategy, but this shouldn't be a mistake. And now how should we play? Jump? White jumps. Black plays here. White goes here, black goes here. Maybe just like this. Maybe I am a bit too greedy for black in this area. I should just be satisfied with that box on the right. White played a pincer, and then black goes through, and white should connect, like try to connect. Black goes here, white cannot go there, so white needs to connect. Black goes here, and then white can get the outside. But for no understandable reason, before doing so, white played this exchange. So now it's like in the other variation, but with the AB terrible exchange for white. So this must be good for black. But if it goes like this, then I'm not sure. Of course, it's good to capture cutting stones, but white gets a very nice outside. Maybe better for black to play this fight, not try to finish it by capturing 2 stones and giving away the stone on the other side. Maybe playing like this would be better. Of course, with this exchange, it became good for black. Ah, interesting. I think if I was black, I would go for this. I would not be afraid of the caw, because it seems that black can get really much on the caw. I would ignore every threat. Go like this. White would probably play this threat. And if black answers, then it's probably better to not start the con, because white lost something on the threat, but not that much. And now we don't have threats, and we will be forced. To finishing it. Okay, so good that black captured. So locally, black gets such a powerful shape, and it seems that it must be good for black. But somehow, not much long after, the game became good for white. What happened? First of all, don't play this Hane. You just play here. When white pushes, you're already free to enter white's area, and you are already happy with how much you gained on the side. But the reasoning of black was that this move creates a bit of a problem in white's shape. So black played this, but then white can play Atari push again. That's really too much. We should play like that. However, well, now white can push already a few times, and it already starts being painful. White's potential looks very, very strong, and black's umbrella is not very useful because white has a strong group here. So black tries to change something, but it was easiest to just play here now. And if white just ignores, then we can play here, or maybe play elsewhere, go out with the stone. So this pushing fight, I think, was played incorrectly by black, because black's potential was not that useful. Well, now black can finally make profit out of these aggressive moves, and indeed black managed to capture white stones. However, white gets a lot on the outside, and now black can't even save the 2 stones. Even worse, there are no good ladder breakers because white has a strong wall of stones on the way of the ladder. So losing 2 stones in the center of the board might be too much, even if we capture so many stones of white there and not die with our stones. So black wanted to change something and start a fight, but that looks unreasonable, and white should certainly go here. However, white decided that this Moyo is just enough. Very interesting choice. Maybe yes, but it's still possible to live in the Moyo for sure. But white played this move. So it all becomes very, very crazy. However, for now, it's possible to extend. This is always played, and almost always, black will play from this side. And then if you don't want to go into such a fight, because you feel that you lose your potential, then you can go for these 2 Ataris. And this is playable. This is seen in professional games, and then you got 2 stones on the outside and not 1. If you are to sacrifice 1 stone, then sacrifice 2. So this is how the proverb is used in practice. Yeah. Also possible to play here. But I understand that white might be afraid that it lets black enter his Moya. It's not possible for black to go out, because then this move puts too much pressure on black. This will be white's center, and well, maybe Moyo will be 10 points smaller, but on the bottom side the difference is huge. compared with the game. So this was for sure incorrect to give that outside Atari. This is interesting. Now the normal call move would be an Atari from the outside, after which it's easy to play threats because we don't risk that much on the call, because now this stone is not badly placed. Though still it's big for white to win the com, but we can get really much by threats. But playing the outside Atari looks quite crazy, because now black needs to win the call several times. First time, second, and white will very happily, eagerly lose it for the use the local threats, right? Because then the white's gain only becomes bigger. But still black can get really much on the left side, so black should use these threats. It doesn't lose anything, almost anything. Anyway, black will likely try to live there with such moves, and it threatens really a lot. Unless black is afraid that even with two moves, she's not able to live. But could it really be? I don't believe so. It's not possible that with two moves it's not possible to live. Of course, white gets a lot on the bottom side, but the left side is here of utmost importance. So, in fact, the ko is risky and white should rather extend. But with the ko it becomes confusing, and black uses this threat, which was apparently not so big. It would be bigger to play on the left side probably, though I don't know, because the center is also huge and it's so painful that the two stones were dead. But now we still need to spend a move. Probably better to extend. But white gets such a profit and then adds one more move, and now the game is just good for white, because white has 80 points, almost, okay, maybe not 80, but with here already 80, and then 90, 100, plus a few, plus Komi, 110 very easily, and black has, let's count it like this, 15 minus 13 plus 8, so 45, 15, 16, 75, 82. White has a big advantage, really big advantage. Without entering, we cannot win, but entering right now is already a bit difficult. Also, having that exchange, also this move at C is half center for white. Okay, it's not really center, but still. Now it's already difficult for black to enter. So black lost the opportunity. Now black must have entered. And also it's not obligatory to start the ko. It's possible to enter just like this, because for now there is a lot of space. The group shouldn't die. Really, you can trust me. The group like this should not die. Should be not difficult to make life. But after all these exchanges, after that ko, it's already very difficult to make life. And that's why white even answered to that move of black, because, well, white just has a big advantage. And here, very strange to not answer to the peep on a cutting point. It would be better to answer, but I can understand. This is enough for white. The game continued, but white had an advantage. Here white missed a thing. White should have descended and black got a big profit, but even with that big profit, white is a bit ahead, and white found another way. White can cut off the group of black, and actually white managed to kill it, so white won by resignation. But even without that, if white simply continued like this, white still had a slight advantage, even after losing all the side. Alright. So be wary of your opponent using their stones in a hyper efficient way, like it happened here. There is such a big empty space, and all of this is so difficult to enter because white is so strong everywhere. This was a very successful moyo by Piotrek. So very nice game to watch, and let's move to the last one for today. In this game, Maxim to white and Benjamin to black. Oh, I am sorry. I actually have a photo of Benjamin, but forgot to put it. So next time, if Benjamin is still in a league which I review, then we will have his photo. All right. Maxim is back to his one of his how to say trademark moves, the O Takamoku 6-4, and then there are several josekis afterwards. How to play here? How to play? I think it's possible to play this, connect and capture. Is it possible? What to think of this result, sorry. In the game we can have a similar result because black extended, and then again black can capture, but now there is no cutting point in white's shape, so it's better for white than the other one. How to think of it? Well, we can compare it with another joseki which gives an even result. This one, good to know this joseki so that we can compare other josekis with this. This is an even result. If this is an even result, then this result is good for white because white didn't spend a move here. Alright, maybe a tiger's mouth is a bit more efficient than the move at B, but if we don't spend the move at C, then maybe even not. Then the solid connection might be better. This is good for white. Just simple comparison with this joseki. Also, another way to understand that this is good for white might be some comparison with this joseki. But is it easy to make it work? Well, of course, this is good for white, but in that joseki, black has a stronger shape, of course. So better to compare with this joseki. And that other shape, well, if we compare with the joseki, in both cases, white needed to spend an additional move. Which is better? Black's shape is the same, white's shape is different. I personally think that I prefer this one for white, but it's difficult to say. It should be an even result. So you know that as black you can go for this. There is also another way, which is Atari here. And now white is not sure whether he should play here or there, maybe from this side. And black will probably add a move here or there. It's also an even result. Maybe there are some other fancy moves. I think that this exists, but this I am already not sure of, but it might be the best. How to play. Black threatens that he goes out through here. So white needs to spend a move, and then I think it looks quite good for black. Alright, in the game we have this move, and then unexpectedly another extension. Unexpectedly for me. It looks for me like an overplay. White descended, which looks correct. It tries to create a double threat, but black answered in a very powerful way. This would be one way, in fact. No, this would not. Now double Hane is too good. Ah, how to play? Is there a way for white to capture black? Maybe not. So, not sure. Then maybe this move is not good. White can play like this. But this looks like a Nadare, an avalanche Joseki, in which white made this not necessary exchange. So this is not that good for white. Maybe now double Hane, and now here, and now there. This looks reasonable. White enclosed black from both sides. Later white has still this, so black in fact has only 10 points in the corner. Maybe this is the best. And maybe this is an overplay by Maxim. Then white played double Hane, connected and get something on the outside, but it's clearly worse than the other result which we considered, which was also white center, but black was sealed off completely and had less points. And also, before playing this move, white should certainly consider playing somewhere there. Because for now, we are not afraid that black plays here. And if black plays there, then, well, if we want, we can go here. Or maybe we find something better. Maybe we can enclose black completely, though, well, in the game, white took center. But in fact, black can also ignore it. I think white can ignore it, right? Black can ignore it, I mean. White doesn't have a way. Black should ignore it. Alright, but even if black doesn't, it's still a good result for black, and there is this weak point in white's shape, so black got a superior position. Sansan invasion, then this Joseki. But actually, there is one thing which you need to know. If the Joseki didn't appear after black's attachment, then you shouldn't really play this move. Then you should cut from the other side and play here, and later there are several ways. You can play from the outside like this or like that, or maybe you crawl like this. Now it doesn't make sense because there is nowhere to crawl to, it seems, unless I'm mistaken. No, I'm not mistaken. Yeah, this doesn't make sense for black, I think. Other than that, it's a possible way of playing, this crawling. Maybe even playing like this is an option, the way Lukasz Podpera likes. 10 points in the corner. But what is the problem with this move? There is a problem with this move. Oh, what is the problem? Here, extend. So the problem is that in the usual Joseki, black would play Hane, and white would be forced to somehow answer because of the problem. With this, black can go here and capture white in ladder. If the ladder doesn't work, then black shouldn't choose this Joseki. But now the exchange is not made, and black is not in time to make it. White can play from the other side. White can simply connect. And this is terrible for black. And this is also terrible for black. So now white can simply play here. That's why black cannot really play Hane. Also there is that stone nearby which changes match. So that's why black chose to descend. Okay, it makes sense. But now white was too soft. Because usually this descent happens after an exchange. And then white gives away 3 stones. But without the exchange, white can certainly find a stronger way than just pushing black down. Now, alright, I don't know who the exchange is good for, but white is a bit over-concentrated. I think that white should look for something more efficient. How is this? if someone should play such a combination, then it should be Maxim, no? He likes to find such creative plays. I think it looks quite satisfactory for white. The fight is of course difficult for both, but if white can manage to not die with the 2 stones on the other side, then for sure white is satisfied. And white can also just eat the dumpling, which is also an option. Are other moves options? No, this is not an option. And this is also unreasonable, I think. Yeah, so this is one thing to think of. Another one is here. Again, black cannot really play this Hane. We can, or maybe, maybe black can, but we also have a support here. So even if we connect, it's not easy for black to fight. Jump looks good, but it's unclear. Just go like this probably. Yeah, just go for the cut, and later, well, again, you cannot get a very clean result. Then probably it was better to eat the dumpling. Okay. Anyway, white just gave away, which looks a bit soft, but alright. It's more or less a Joseki. I understand the pincer. Black doesn't want white's Moyo to raise too much, grow too much. Well, of course it's a big move, but it's possible to skip it. Usually you don't play these. Usually you jump down like this. You protect your shape. This strengthens white much, but it's possible to play it, of course. Why? Now black can play here, and it's stronger than extending up. Maybe black took into account that white has so many supporting stones that maybe there is no cut, but usually it should be a connection. Interesting that white played this one first. I don't think that white should be afraid of this variation because it's great for white's overall strategy. But alright, we got a Joseki shape. This you shouldn't play yet, I think. It's not yet time when black will consider playing this one because the continuation is not too big yet. And also, if you want, then you certainly play it from this side. Anyway, you lose one Kothret. But after this one, you don't lose a liberty which might be necessary later. What's the liberty? So now, if black plays here, you can block, and you already lose less if black continues. You have a way to block black, easy way. But with this exchange, it might matter in the future that I don't know. Like, okay, with this stone it's a bit different, but in the Joseki shape, there is this cut and that ladder which stops to work if black has a stone at white has a stone at G1. Also, well, it's a loss of a threat, so white shouldn't play this move yet. So maybe in this game it won't matter. Interesting play from the top. Yeah, I thought that maybe white can try something like this, and that's why I think that it might be better for black to play here. Well, it doesn't threaten a connection, but it will be easy for black to run out. So I think it's a stronger move. And if white plays from top, then later black can use the weakness of white's shape. Now white blocks black. Makes sense to try this idea. But black didn't get a bad result, living on the top and still running here. So maybe this was a better move. Other than that, we can also try different ways, but I don't think that this looks like a big mistake. It's a possible play. Maybe a knight's move is better if black's Hane is severe. Or white shouldn't play this Hane because it only strengthens black. After this move anyway, black is likely to play here, and then of course it's good to not have that exchange. Black runs and it becomes a decisive fight because black already made a lot of points, capturing 4 corners. It's 15, 35, 40, 15, 68. Black has almost 70 points, and white can have at most 20, 40, 55, just like this. So, okay, so it means that white needs 15 points from here, having Komi in mind. Well, it doesn't look unrealistic, in fact. If white fights well and has time to play here, it should be possible, but maybe still I think that black is better because white still lacks a move here and it's possible to enter around here, and black has only one problem on the board. So one problem is not difficult to tackle usually in GOM. Maybe black should play a cap, I don't know, why not? Is black afraid of this? Maybe, but not sure if white can be satisfied with such result. Black plays more conservative moves. And well, black will live. So now white needs, white needs additional 15 points, but white still have these weaknesses, and black can, for example, play here or there. So probably black is better in the game, I think. Yeah, this is a good move. Very unfortunate that we cannot play such a move in center because this is exchanged, so black is already very safe on the side. How to play it? Maybe white can consider a crazy call, but probably not. Ah, wait. Of course, black should start with this move. Maybe white can consider a crazy call one day. So, well, yeah, I am not sure how realistic this is, but it might be a chance to change something in the game. So it might be more important to enclose black, though of course black will enter from this side. But it's also a challenge for black, whether he wants to enter deep or shallow. Like this, of course, black enters from that other side. And well, where are white's 15 points? Maybe here. But this is still not fixed yet, that territory. Here an interesting finish of this game happened. So yeah, white has a problem and white can protect, but probably white has just not enough to win the game. Having this move, black is not afraid of that cut. So I didn't count points, but I expect that black should be winning on this board. So white plays more actively, but then black finds a weakness in white's shape. And well, white can go like this, but it's so difficult already. Maybe trying to kill everything is an option for white. Going for a capturing race. Maybe. In the game white played this and then connected. But then black can simply connect back and the game is good for black for sure. Unless black has no time to make the exchange. But no, black can just connect like this. So this is a loss for white, and white needs to go for a crazy attack right now and accept a capturing race, which might be tragic for white, but it's also white's chance to change something in this game. White has 5 liberties. Well, maybe black has 4. If black is not able to create more, maybe it's a calm. So this would be interesting, but like this, black pushes out and white has no way to split black stones. Black can play here, but in the game black played differently and went for a cut. If white has a way to cut black, it might be still interesting, but unfortunately it seems that there is no way. No way. No way. No way. So white tries to make life at least, and then this happens and black connects, and white didn't even manage to make life. But even if not, I think the game was just good for black. Alright, so that's it about this game, and that's it for today, and that's it for season 31. See you all, or many of you, next weekend at the Chinatown Weiqi Cup in Warsaw. See you and bye bye.